All right, everybody, what is up? Shadow Scout 0013 here, reporting in for some Ministraviganza news. So, today I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about Ministraviganza and, just the new units for Legion that just came out. Your Shatterpoint, there's a ton of stuff that they showed and previewed, which looks really cool, and they previewed a ton of Civil War era units like Luke, a new Vader, Han Solo, Leia, not Hondo, um, Lando. Jeez, I'm having a hard time. Yeah, they released so many, and they look really cool, and all those minis are amazing looking. They did really well with the posing, with what they did, sculpting them. So yeah, absolutely amazing. And for Star Wars Legion, a lot of good stuff came out, especially for CIS and the Republic. So I'm excited to see the Wookiee Battle Force, and I'm really excited about the new experimental droid battle force, which looks like it's the Kashyyyk, the force that attacked Kashyyyk, I should say. So yeah, lots and lots of good, fun stuff. First off, if you haven't already, I'll go ahead and go through a bunch of the little housekeeping here. If you haven't head to the Discord yet, go ahead and head there now. Canadian Bear or Graham has posted a few fun list ideas for the new Kashyyyk battle force, the Wookiee battle force, and he's posted a few as well as Kato right here, posting a few different ideas which look a lot of fun, like a lot of fun. So feel free to head on over there, check a few things out, especially the general chat. We've posted a lot, and I've pinned a lot of messages to show you guys exactly what I'm about to go over today. So if you needed to, you can check it out. And if you go to any tournaments or anything like that, if you go to any tournaments, whatever you want to say, feel free to post them on the Discord, because that would be awesome to see, what you're bringing, what is being brought, what you're fighting. Just like, the Chosen One here, he went to an Oklahoma City tournament and went 1-2, but he posted the list that he went up against, which is really cool, and I really appreciate this. And if you guys do it, we get to kind of see what's out there in this Discord, and we get to see what people are mostly using or wanting to use in the tournaments. So yeah, and I also love little battle reports that you guys have, because it also gives other people ideas. It also helps others kind of figure out what they can and can't do, or should and shouldn't do. So yeah, I'd highly recommend coming in, posting everything you can. Also, you can head to the Patreon and become a member. There's a $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, and $25 a month. And I mean, even if you're just an official core captain, that would be awesome. Just $1 a month just goes to show that you want to help and show your support. And it's just really cool. I really appreciate everyone who's at least the $1, and anyone who is $5, and the Shadow Commander, the Chosen One, they're also part of this. So yeah, feel free to go ahead and come on and join up. Also, if you haven't, you can head to theburnacademy.com, where you can subscribe for $15 a month and download the app to get 3, 4, 5, and 6 day week workout programs, corrective exercise programs in case you are having an injury or had an injury and you're trying to work through it. So there's some people who have forearm issues or shoulder issues, knee issues, hip issues. You can come over here and, ask away, download the app, try to pick out a workout that works out for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. There's 30-minute torture programs in case you're short on time. There's stuff for at home. There's an abs and core. I just added a new cardio circuit. So if you are just interested in cardio, I have stuff for machines and high intensity interval training. So head on over there. Also, just in case you are interested, I do have some online coaching available, where I've got, bodybuilding specific stuff, corrective exercise stuff. So if you wanted something more specific tailored to you, go ahead and come on over there and, click the link and get signed up. Also, glute training. So I also have a certification in glute training or hip stability as well. And I like to call myself a bootyologist, just in case you guys want a quick little laugh. But yeah, head on over there and become a member. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at everything that was spoiled during Ministraviganza, during the roadmap. So we know that we're going to get the Geonosian Warriors. So let's take a look at their card. It's going to be 4 naturally. You're going to have the ability to have a heavy and a regular personnel, nothing else. So they're just kind of like, bah! And you can't really attach anything to them, which makes the list building way easier, and they're still fairly cheap, so that's really nice. They do surge to defense, which is nice to have in a CIS list. They're 1 courage, 1 health, and they're not a droid trooper, so you still are going to have to be careful with suppression in the Geonosian lists that you build. They're speed 2, they have only a range 1 to 2 blaster, and it's a black and a white. They don't surge offensively, so, and there's no way to bring targeting scopes or anything else, so you're going to be taking tons of aims if you can. And what also will help with that is the death from above. Now, they also have spears, so they're going to be able to roll a black dice in melee, and so jump is free. So I'm assuming that you can go ahead and jump 3, which is really nice for free, and then you can aim and shoot. So that's just fantastic. They've got scale in case you don't want to jump, and you can just move. So basically unhindered. They're going to be able to go over barriers and anything like that very, very easily. Or any kind of like difficult terrain, it's nothing to them. So they can jump and then even go over difficult terrain. They're basically unhindered for anything. So they're very, very mobile, which is really nice. So death from above, let's take a look at it. So when this unit attacks, it ignores cover if this unit's unit leader is overlapping a piece of non-area terrain of greater height than any terrain the defending unit leader is overlapping. So if they're on a building and they are above the unit they are attacking, there's no cover, which really, really helps because you don't surge and you're going to be rolling possibly anywhere between 8 to 10 dice, maybe even more. And yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. The only thing with them is when this unit has claimed an objective token, it cannot use the jump keyword. It's just going to be able to use scale. So at least you still have unhindered because you're weighed down, but that's not the end of the world. Like I said, they're very mobile, but it's going to be a tough decision to want to use them for objectives, but they're still going to be the best at probably getting objectives because no terrain stops them. So that's really, really nice. Nothing's going to slow them down. And they are a core unit. So in a way, yeah, if they do have the hostage unit and they become courage 2, even though they can't jump for free, they're never going to be slowed down by that difficult terrain. So that's really, really nice. All right, and let's keep going. One of the heavies that you can attach for 15 points is the Force Pike Warrior. And the Force Pike Warrior says, when this unit performs a move action, you can flip this card before placing the movement tool, which means that there's probably something on the other side. We don't know what it is yet, but at least we have, the melee, a red and a black, and it is suppressive. So this is a great way that if you're in melee, you can get rid of a standby. Or if they already have a few suppression tokens from getting attacked, and then you move into them, and then you melee them again, you're going to give them another suppression, possibly getting them down to 1 action, or even panicking them. So I absolutely love the fact that it's suppressive. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the other side's going to look like eventually. You have the regular Geonosian Warrior, which is just going to be a regular personnel upgrade for 11 points. And then the Sonic Cannon Warrior is a range 1 to 2 as well. It's a scatter and impact 1. The scatter is really, really nice, especially if you've got other melee units nearby. You can use the Sonic Cannon Warrior unit at range 1 to 2 attack. You're rolling a single rainbow with a black and a white for others. So say that you just had the 4, you have 8 dice, 4 black, 4 white, and then you also have another rainbow. So you have 11 dice that you're going to be rolling, and if you're on top of a building, they're going to have no cover. So it's almost just as good as the Black Sun, but a little bit better, because it's like having the blast keyword at range 1 to 2 instead of range 1. It's also impact 1, which is very nice, but that's scatter. Yeah, that's where you get to move everybody in the unit but the unit leader. And if you have maybe the Magna Guard nearby, you can scatter them kind of like towards the Magna Guard so that they can move into melee by not having to go as far. Maybe they take 1 move action instead of 2 to reach the unit that you just scattered. So that can be a really big bonus. So that's really nice. It's 25 points, so it's pretty expensive, but not bad. All right, yeah, that is it for them. So now let's take a look at, where is he? At Fac, we'll just say that. And then Poggle the Lesser. Some really cool minis, and I liked the artwork that was on there. Fac, the Ruthless Lieutenant. He, again, has jump 3 for free. He's got cover 1, which is really, really nice. It's interesting to see that a personnel, an operative, has cover 1 just from the beginning. Again, death from above, so if Fac is above your opponent, you're going to be able to shoot that range 1 to 3 against them with no cover. You can direct Geonosian Warriors, so if you've got just the Geonosian Warriors next to you, so maybe you say you take 3 of them, and then you take, Fac with you, he's going to be able to give one of them an order. He's also got retinue with Poggle the Lesser, so if you do want to take Poggle with him, he's going to be able to gain an aim or a dodge due to being range 1 to 2 of him. He's also got scale, so he's very mobile, and he's also going to be weighed down, so if he does have an objective, so say maybe you do want to run him over to a box or anything like that, he's not going to be able to use that jump keyword. Now, he's got 5 health, 2 courage, which is not bad. He surges both offensive and defensively. He's speed 2. He's got a range 1 to 3 sonic carbine, which is suppressive. It's a single rainbow, and again, if you are on top of non-area terrain greater height than the defending unit, this is going to be a single rainbow with no cover, range 1 to 3, and then you're going to give them 2 suppression. The force spike is 2 red and a white pierce 1, which is nice to have, especially in CIS. Not coming from a force user, I should say. And then Fac can also bring in training, a comms, and a gear. I'm not exactly sure how you would want to deck him out, but yeah, I'm not necessarily a CIS player. I've never played CIS before in my life, but I try to learn as much as I can about them and what they can do. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure, how people would want to combine them with other CIS units. Now, let's look at Poggle the Lesser. He cannot jump for free as high, but it's still jump 2, which is still really high. So he's got Compel Core Separatist Alliance Troopers. So he can, if, a unit is technically suppressed, droid troopers don't lose an action due to being suppressed. But if they are suppressed, you can compel them, which is very interesting. The big one I really like is the Entourage B2s. So basically, if you have a B2 or 2 units next to Poggle the Lesser, he's going to be able to issue them an order for free at range 1 to 2, giving you the option not to, use the AI. Well, not option, but once you give them the order, they're not going to be able to use AI because they have an order now. But if you had another one next to him, you could only entourage 1 B2 battle droid. He's got Override 2, which is something that we have seen mostly on, Kalani or Kraken. So Override 2, I think that one was where, if a unit at range 1 to 2 has AI, you can give yourself a suppression and allow them to ignore it. So this is another really good commander that works well with droids and works well with the other Geonosian Warriors. He's also got weighed down, so if he has a claimed objective token, he cannot use the jump keyword, and he doesn't have scale. So he's going to be a little bit more hindered if you give him an objective. He's got red dice for defense, which is really nice. He's only got 4 health, 3 courage, so he's a really good commander for CIS. He does surge to hit. He's got a range 1 to 3 blaster with 2 black, and then he's also got the staff of his, which is 2 black as well, and then he's got 2 command slots, a comms slot, and then a gear slot. So not bad. It'll be interesting to kind of see what people decide to do with the Geonosian Warriors, but I'm excited to see them on the table and just what they do in general. All right, now let's take a look at a few of the command cards that they're going to have. So with Fac, the 1-pip, it's just giving it to him, but after the issue orders step, up to 2 friendly Geonosian Warrior units at range 1 to 2, I guess I should say, of a friendly Fac may jump 3 for free. And then Fac gains Agile 1 and Demoralize 1 this round. not bad. I mean, that's pretty good. And so I'm assuming that, Geonosian Warriors already have Jump 3, but it looks like it's just another free action they get to do before anything happens. So they can go ahead and Jump 3, and then when it's their turn, they can Jump 3 again, and then have 2 other actions. So this is going to be really good. And then he gains Agile 1, so he can move with the jump, and then that should give him a dodge, as far as I understand. And then Demoralize 1 is anything at range 1 to 2 of him is going to gain a suppression token. Just a unit, I should say. So that's pretty good. That's not too bad at all. So Poggle's 1 pip. Let the executions begin. So it's going to just give it to him. So during the issue orders step, you may issue up to 2 orders to friendly droid trooper units at range 1. So on top of direct, you're going to be able to give up another 2 orders, I'm assuming, because you can issue up to 2 orders to friendly droid trooper units at range 1, and then you also have direct, which is at range 1 to 2 of a B2. So you kind of want to probably bring B2s with him. And hopefully we see more of B2s on the table. I'd like to see them. As much as I don't want to go up against them, it'd be just nice to see more units on the table. So during Poggle the Lesser's activation, friendly non-panicked droid trooper units at range 1 of Poggle the Lesser gain fire support. Poggle the Lesser may make 2 attack actions during his activation. So you're basically setting yourself up for 2 fire supports, because if you can attack twice, you can use fire support from 2 different units. So you give the order to Poggle, you direct to another B2, and then you can give another 2 B2s an order that's at range 1 of him. Then, whenever Poggle wants to attack, he can make the attack, and then 2 other units, those B2s, if they're not suppressed, they can also fire support. So that's going to be a huge, huge dice pool. That's going to be terrifying to see. Because if you have the B2s with the Ha, so that's 2 reds and a white, and then, let me just see, is that the... Yeah, so let's look at the B2s real quick. So B2s, they're going to be shooting 2 dice each at range 1 to 2. So maybe you have 2, 4, 6 at least, and then maybe you have the Ha, so that's 8, 9, and then you have his 2, so that's 11 dice that you're shooting twice in a row. And it doesn't have to be against 2 different units. It just says he can attack twice during his activation. So you can attack 1 unit twice with that fire support in his attack. And as far as I understand, with his attack, it's just like the 2 black. Range 1 to 3, there is no sharpshooter or anything, but it is surge to hit. And B2s don't surge to hit naturally. So, yeah, granted, you're going to have probably heavy cover, but at least you're surging on everything. So that's super amazing for Poggle. So Poggle's 2-pip. We serve the queen. Yeah, that was a weird-looking queen in the Clone Wars. All right, so besides that. So a friendly Sun Fac loses direct to the Geonosian Warriors this round. So if you have Poggle and Sun Fac in the same army, it's not going to be drastically effective. Or he's not going to be badly affected, I should say. Because friendly Sun Fac and Geonosian Warriors just gain coordinate to Geonosian Warriors. So instead of direct, you can't just give out the order for free. You actually have to give Sun Fac the order in order for him to use coordinate to another Geonosian Warrior. And you're only giving it to 1 unit, so you want to be careful who you give it to. So maybe you do want to give it to Sun Fac, and then he can coordinate to another Geonosian, and then you already have direct to a B2 on Poggle, so you're already going to be able to give a B2 an order. And then when a friendly Geonosian Warrior unit with a face-up order token begins its activation, it can gain an aim and a dodge token, I'm assuming. There's a head in the way, but I can clearly see or A-N-D. Yeah, so I just don't know if it's a surge or a dodge token, but at least you're gaining some stuff. So that's where maybe you have 4 Geonosian Warriors and just Poggle. You don't have Sun Fac. Maybe you just give one of the Geonosian Warriors the order, which gives it to a second Geonosian Warrior, and then maybe when you draw a Geonosian Warrior. Oh, sorry. No, never mind. There's no fire support. That's differently. So when a friendly Geonosian Warrior with a face-up order token, so maybe you have to give it to 1 unit. You give it to the Geonosian Warrior. He coordinates, and then when the face-up order token begins its activation, it can gain an aim. So many ways to give these guys tokens, which is really nice to see. And then a 3-pip that's technically a 4-pip. So when building a command hand, you have to treat this card as though it has 3 pips, and it's from Poggle, so it's a Poggle command card. When a core droid trooper unit is issued an order with this card, it can choose to return its order to the order pool, and if you do, it may return a defeated miniature to the unit with no wound tokens and remove a suppression token. So let's just say, for the heck of it, that it gives it to 4 droid trooper units. Maybe you have 3 B2s. You can direct one of them. You give out 2 other orders out of the 4 to the other 2 B2s. So there's your 3 B2s that are, given the order. And then you've got 2 more orders to droid troopers to give out. So even if you were to give them to some B1s, that's fine. But this is going to be best for the B2s because you can return a defeated miniature which has 2 wounds to the unit with no wounds. So it's literally just like bringing back an entire... It's like heal 2, capacity 1 in a way for the droids. That's really nice. And you get to remove a suppression token. This is just an amazing card, especially when B2s are defeated. It's just like, that sucks. So they have armor 1 and everyone's bringing anti-armor stuff or impact stuff. So to be able to lose a miniature that turn, gain that suppression, and then you play this card, you bring back the defeated mini, and you take off that suppression they just gained. Man, absolutely amazing. Obviously, they're going to have a suppression loss at the end of the round, but maybe say they had 2 suppression, and they lose both of them at that point. Yeah, this is really nice. I think you're going to be able to see... I think we're going to see probably a lot of Geonosian Warriors on there because they jive so well with B2s. So I'm hoping to see a lot more of those B2s on the table. And that is Fac and Poggle for you. That is CIS. I think we're going to just see a lot of them on there. I'm excited for it. We're going to go ahead and move on because there's so much to cover. The 5th brother and 7th sister for Empire. This is going to be really nice. Now, they are operatives, and technically they're not one unit, but with the 7th sister, you have the associate of the 5th brother. So during army building, this unit does not count against the number of operative rank units that you may include in the 5th if the 5th brother is included in the same army. So you'd have to add the 5th brother first, and then you could add the 7th sister for free. Or, you could just have the 7th sister, and that count as an operative unit, and then maybe you want to bring someone else if you're short on points. But I like it because you could technically have operative Vader, and then you can have the 7th sister and the 5th brother. So you can have 3 operatives in one army. Another fun thing to do, possibly if there are some spare points, is to bring even Iden and a 3rd operative, so you have 4 operative units in the bag, so you can kind of have better order control. So you have to have a commander, so have the generic commander, and then you have Iden, you maybe have Inferno Squad, and then you have the 7th sister, you have the 5th brother, and then maybe you have Boba Fett. You're going to have a very, very, very low activation army, but technically you would have really good order control over your operatives, because you could have 4 operative tokens in the bag. That's neither here or there, because that'd be really tough. But let's kind of go over this. So we'll go over the 5th brother first. The kill is mine. It's a 6 health unit. He's only got courage 2, but he does have enrage 2. So when he has 2 or more wound tokens, he's going to have null courage and gain charge, which is really nice, but you have to have 4 health left in order to get this benefit. He does surge to hit. He does have Saber Throw built in, just like the 7th sister has Saber Throw built in, and it's 3 black, Impact 2, Pierce 1 for both of them, and then they both have 5 black dice for their melee. The 5th brother, though, has Ram 2, so anytime that you make a full movement into somebody, and then you can charge, you can turn 2 random blanks into crits, which is really, really nice. And you already surge, so hopefully without that aim, if you have to move, and then you charge, at least, you basically have an aim that converts into crits. Super, super amazing. They both have block. Okay, so that is going to be way different than the other Force users because, Grievous has block, but these guys have block, and so you're not necessarily going to need into the fray because they're going to already surge to hit, and then if you spend a dodge token, you gain surge to defend. So you're going to want to stack up on dodge tokens, not surge tokens. So maybe you use a training slot to have offensive stance, defensive stance, and then maybe you take those dodges. And maybe you can't. Now, I don't think you can spend. If I'm mistaken, let me see. Well, let me just add Yoda here real quick, and I'll take him out. But it's a training slot. Sorry, my bad. All right, well, sorry guys. Bear with me for 2 seconds. I just want to make sure I get this right for you guys, and not screw it up. And so we were looking for, what was it? The training slots. Let's just go with Vader because he's got some training slots. Okay, so yeah, offensive, defensive stance. If it's an offensive stance, when you perform an aim action, you gain 2, but you cannot spend dodge tokens. Okay, in defensive stance, you cannot spend aim tokens, but you get 2 dodges. So, maybe it's a really, really tough choice. But yeah, you're going to want some dodges. Maybe you can have some stormtroopers that have portable scanners on it and make sure that they hand out as many of those as possible. But yeah, it's just really up to you. At least that surge to block is very helpful. There's no deflect, though, so they're not that trained. Now, the fifth brother has Dauntless, so after your rally, if you are suppressed but not panicked, you can gain a suppression token to perform a free move action. And that charge would still trigger off of Dauntless. So you would have to Dauntless before you aimed. So that'd be really tough. You might not actually get the chance to aim. And then maybe that's when you Dauntless yourself forward, giving yourself a suppression. You can gain charge. So maybe you've got the Ram 2 in there. And then you roll, you at least surge. So you're probably getting a full boat without an aim. Or at least 2 to 3. And then you're definitely rolling blanks. So you're going to be possibly getting all 5 of them almost every time. If you make that move, I should say. And then maybe your second action, since you can take only one action since you're suppressed, is to take a dodge. And that's where that offensive defensive stance could come in, because then, you get 2 dodges instead of 1. And then when someone attacks you, you can spend a dodge, gain surge to crit, or surge to block. So yeah, that's just really nice. The immune to pierce is also really nice. And then 2 training slots and a force slot. So let's move on to the seventh sister. Again, she's got jump 1, so she's kind of mobile. During army building, like I said, the associate, a fifth brother, she doesn't count towards an operative slot. She's got block, charge, discipline 1. So anytime she gets an order, she's going to be able to remove a suppression token. And she's also immune to pierce. And another good thing specifically about her, besides the jump, is interrogate. So when this unit is at range 1 of an enemy unit, treat that unit's command cards as having 1 more pip. So it technically has to be, I feel like, a unit that has command cards. So if you're going after a force user or a leader, if you're at range 1 of any of them, any force user or someone that has a command card, that unit's command cards are going to have 1 more pip than you. So you basically have cunning in a way against that one person. So it's very situational. Again, she's got the built-in saber throw, impact 2, pierce 1, and then the 5 black for pierce 1, impact 2, but no ram. So you're going to really need to make sure that you've got some ways to possibly get some aims on her. She does have the 2 training slots and a force slot. And what's really nice is, let's go to the upgrade. Inquisitorious Training for the 5th brother or 7th sister. This unit gains Demoralize 1, and when a unit at range 1 exhausts a force upgrade, you can roll a red defense dice. So on any paint, you're going to cancel the effect, the force effect, whatever it is, and the upgrade's going to remain exhausted. So I'm always probably going to equip this to the 7th Sister predominantly because she has her 3 pip where she also gains Demoralize 1 as well. So you could have Demoralize 2 on her for that turn. And so while an enemy unit is at range 1 of the 7th Sister and they are suppressed, they have to re-roll 1 fewer die when spinning aims. So yeah, it's a 3 pip, so you're probably not going to go first unless you're next to a Force user who also tries to play a 3 pip or a 2 pip and you win the roll off if you win the roll off. But if they even play a 3 pip and you're at range 1 because of the interrogation, she is going to be able to basically go first with her 3 pip because you're going to have to treat their command card as having 1 more pip. And then with the Demoralize 2, basically, because she's going to have that Demoralize, she's going to be able to make them roll 1 fewer dice whenever they are attacking her, and or spinning aims, I should say. And then if they decide to use, force reflexes or force push, you could roll a dice where you have a 66% chance of rolling paint, and then they're not going to be able to use the effect, and it's going to remain exhausted. That's amazing. She's going to be really good at kind of denying force free actions or anything like that, force actions. So I think this is a 2 pip for the 5th brother, and the 2 pip for him is going to give it to him and the 7th sister. And predominantly, I think, 1, 2, 3 out of the 5 are specifically for them, both of them. This is a permanent thing. So when the 5th brother gains an aim, the 7th sister is going to gain a dodge. When the 5th brother gains a dodge, the 7th sister gains an aim. Regardless. Now, when either unit gains an aim or a dodge, the other unit may gain an immobilized token. And if they decide to take the immobilized token, the first unit gains an additional token of the same type. So maybe you've got the 5th brother hiding out somewhere, and he takes a dodge. She's going to gain an aim. Well, if you wanted to, when the 5th brother goes to take an aim, you can give an immobilized token to the 7th sister to give him 2 aims instead. And this is permanent. So they're going to be working together very well, and I think that they almost are meant to be taken together because, again, they're command cards, both of them. So the 2 pip gives it to both of them. Her 1 pip gives it to both of them. Her 2 pip gives it to both of them. Now, if you're not bringing the 5th brother when you bring the 7th sister, it's only her 1 and 2 pips only going to be given to her, but at least the 3 pip gives it to the 7th sister and 2 units. So yeah, that's pretty nice. But the permanent keyword for gaining tokens is even better, and that can be where the dodges come in handy with him. And it doesn't say there's a range on here, so they could technically just be anywhere on the board and gain those tokens if the 5th brother decides to do something. But it's mostly when the 5th brother takes an aim or a dodge, the 7th sister is going to benefit from it. So when either unit gains an aim or a dodge, the other unit may gain an immobilized token. So maybe you're in melee and with the 5th brother, and maybe the 7th sister wants to take an aim action. You can give an immobilized to the 5th brother to give her a second aim. Yeah, so there's going to be quite a lot of ways to play through the 5th brother and 7th sister, and it's going to take a little bit of practice, but this should be a really fun little token sharing team. So the I Care Not For Your Struggles of the 5th brother, his 3 pip, is going to give it to the 5th brother and 2 trooper units. And so the 5th brother may also issue orders at range 1 to 5 instead of range 1 to 3 this turn. And then units that are issued in order by this card gain Dauntless. Well, he already has Dauntless, and then if he already has 2 wounds, you're not giving him any more suppression, so it's not really going to matter for him, but it really matters to the 2 other units that you give in order to. So maybe you give it to some Courage 1 units. They're going to gain Dauntless, so if they are suppressed, they can just give themselves the suppression to do a free move, and then they can attack if they needed to. Or maybe if they have an objective and they are getting shot at and they're suppressed, maybe you give it to your objective holders, give them the order, and then, especially if they're in the midfield, they can Dauntless themselves a move and then take another move action, giving you at least a little bit more mobility in your army. So that's not bad. So the 7th sister, her 1-pip, come and prove it. It's going to give it to the 5th brother and the 7th sister. So the 5th brother and 7th sister gain Indomitable. So they're going to be able to roll red defense dice when they're rolling for their suppression. It's mostly probably going to be when he's not enraged, and she's got Courage 3 anyway, so that's going to be really good. You're going to roll 1 extra die when defending this turn. So even if, someone rushes into her, she's going to be able to get an extra red dice, which is amazing. And if the 7th sister is declared as the target of an attack while she has a face-up order token, she goes ahead and gains a dodge. So it's like she's preparing. It's like you've now declared her the target of an attack. So maybe you have your opponent charge into her. Well, not only is she going to get an extra dice, but she's also going to gain a dodge token. So this is trying to keep her alive a little bit longer, and it's probably going to help. So I like this card. I think it's really cool. And hopefully, with the sculptures, or with the minis, I should say, I hope that they have a way to have her face guard down or up, and maybe magnetize the head where you can have either her full helmet or just where her face mask is taken off. That would be pretty cool. The 7th sister's 2-pip, the unexpected but not unwelcome, gives it to the 5th brother and her. So when a unit is issued an order by this card, it recovers. So basically, her and the 5th brother are going to be able to get a free recover action, which is nice if they have suppression, and really nice to be able to recover any force slot that they've expended, like maybe force push or whatever they've got. And they don't need saber throw because that's already built in, like I said. And yeah, I probably think it's going to be force choke or force push. Or maybe burst of speed. I mean, yeah, they can recover, but that's not going to take away those immobilized tokens, and it's an exhaust, or not an exhaust, it's just gone completely. So probably force push would be really nice on that. When the 7th sister is attacking a commander or operative unit with a face down order token, during the roll attack dice step, she can gain up to 2 suppression tokens. So you recover, you get rid of all suppression, and then what you do is maybe you run into a commander or operative that's already gone. You're going to be able to gain 2 suppression, and then she's going to gain an aim token for each suppression token that she gained this way. So maybe, again, you recover, you get the force push back, and you get all the suppression taken off. You move, you force push, and then you move because she's got charge in, and you can give yourself 2 suppression tokens while she's engaged, and then she's going to gain an aim token for each one. Maybe you give her 2 aims for those 2 suppression, and then at the end of the round, since she's already engaged to melee and that person's already gone, she's pretty much going to be safe. And then at the end of the round, she's going to take off a suppression, and then maybe you've gone with her 1-pip or 2-pip, her 1-pip that gives her Indomitable, and prepare for that attack. Yeah, so her cards are really, really nice. And then her 3-pip, you hide your fear well. You give it the 7th sister and 2 units. This is where she gains the Demoralize 1. And when an enemy unit at range 1 of 7th sister is suppressed, they can roll 1 fewer die when spending aims. So maybe she goes first, if possible. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's going to be really hard to pull off with Demoralize 2, because they're probably already going to go before her. So, I mean, we'll have to see how that card ends up working out. But yeah, I mean, that's really cool. I think the Inquisitors are going to be absolutely amazing to go up against Force users, because, again, that Force Denial with the Inquisitorious training, I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially since both of them work very, very well together, and you're probably going to want both of them in the same army anyway. Even if you don't include another operative, you're probably going to want to build something around the 5th brother and 7th sister to keep them doing what they need to do. I mean, that's probably just going to be the best bet. And let's take a look at a few other things. So we do have the Republic Commandos and or Delta Squad, because they said that you're going to be able to either paint them up as Delta Squad and or use them as just a regular commando unit. I think they're going to have 2 different cards in their unit cards for them. So that's going to be freaking phenomenal. That's awesome. I'm excited to see these guys on the board. They're probably going to have, 2 health each, since there's 4 of them. And red dice saves. Probably reliable 1. Man, I bet they're going to be fantastic and very tough to kill. It'd be really cool to have, the Delta Squad names on them, and or maybe if they had another one for Gregor. That'd be really cool, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm excited for these guys and see them on the table. And that is the Delta Squad. Then we have the Imperial Rangers. So these guys, they're from the movie Solo. They were on the train, and yeah, they're kind of looking better than the snowtroopers. I like these guys better than the snowtroopers because snowtroopers, they're very interesting, but these guys just look cooler. And they're probably going to be special forces because they're the elite squad for Empire. So probably shooting a black dice, range 3. Probably going to be a good special forces unit, but I'm excited for these guys. I think it's going to be pretty cool to see them on the board as well. The Crab Droid for CIS. This was in the 3rd episode, I think, when Kenobi was on, Felucia, trying to destroy General Grievous. Yeah, I'm excited to see what their unit card's going to be. Hopefully like Armor 2 or something like that, and it looks like it's got a pretty big cannon on it, so we'll see what it winds up doing. Maybe it's going to be kind of like the Spider Droid, but a little bit different. And real quick, again, before the Battle Forces, we're going to be getting the Rebel Commandos, but they're going to be redone into hard plastic. So they're taking some of the soft plastic and making them into hard. So here's your sniper, there's your saboteur, and then there's the rest of the commandos. So if you wanted a different sniper for your rebels, this is going to be the way to go. And this is way more alien-oriented. Obviously, you see the people from Ryloth. Same thing Hera is. And yeah, same one as Cad. I completely can't remember their names, but yeah. That's going to be really cool. I'm excited for that. You've got brand new Stormtroopers that are going to be coming out, which I like the look of these. I wouldn't mind getting a new one. And they're going to be hard plastic this time instead of soft plastic, so that's pretty nice. And then you're getting a new Luke sculpture, Commander Luke, I'm assuming. And then you have a new Leia, Commander Leia, and Vader. I really wish they would have done a Snow Hoth Leia, but I guess with the Battle Force, the Ewok Battle Force, that's going to be pretty good. And yeah, to have a brand new Luke and Vader. I like this Vader sculpt. The way he looks, the way he's standing. So majestic, so amazing, so Anakin. But yeah, that's going to be cool. I am super stoked for that. And then there's also Rebel Saboteurs. So I'm not exactly sure what this is going to consist of or like what it is, but that looks like a T-21 gun right there. And then they're probably going to be shooting, those look like the same pistols that were on the Fleet Troopers. So maybe 2 white, I'm not sure. But maybe they've got some fun things. They even have a droid. So that'll be kind of cool to see what they do with the droid. And then the Lothcat. You get a Lothcat with the unit leader, it looks like. So this is going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to see what these guys do. Because these minis look like they were probably on Lothal. Because if there's a Lothcat, and then you've got a droid, and then you've got the Radirian, or can't quite remember the alien names. I'm sorry, my bad. But yeah, this is going to be cool. I'm really excited for what's going to come. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the battle forces that they just released and came out with. And it's the Kashyyyk, the Wookie Defenders, and the experimental droids. I'll go ahead and take a look on the Legion, or the Atomic Mass site, where they've come out with a Star Wars Legion website as well, and we'll go ahead and take a look at them. So, the Battle Force, the Wookie Defenders, the special rules, and let's take a look real fast. So, this document provides all the rules and components necessary for the Wookiees, and giving you an extra card, the photograph. So, a Wookie Defenders Battle Force is part of the Galactic Republic faction. The following unit counts as a core unit for the purpose of army building and battle cards, the Wookie Warriors Noble Fighters. So the ones that have charge are the ones that are going to count as core, not special forces. Even though they are special forces, they're going to have to be, the Wookie Noble Fighters are going to count towards the 3 to 6 core units. Your army must include at least 3 Wookie Trooper units, period. That's basically going towards your core. You don't necessarily have to field any of the special forces ones, like the shooty Wookiees. And the first time that a miniature in the Wookie Trooper unit is defeated each round, that unit may make a speed 1 move. So, no matter what Wookiee trooper unit it is, the first time that round that a mini is defeated, you can make a free speed 1 move. But only the first time that a Wookiee trooper unit or mini is defeated, and only once per round. That's really cool. So they're going to be moving up the board kind of quick if they keep getting shot at and taken down. You can take Yoda, Chewie, and a Wookiee chieftain, one or the other. You have to include one. You can have up to 2. Special forces, 0 to 1 ARC troopers, no strike teams, so it's got to be a full trooper team, and Wookie warriors. The Cord, you can have 0 to 2 phase 2s, so it's only phase 2s again, but you don't have to have any phase 2s, so you can literally purely make this a Wookie battle force, so that's pretty cool to see. Supports, you can have up to 1 Bark, you don't have to have them at all if you don't want to, and the Radanov NAS Fluttercraft, and there's also a brand new one specifically for this battle force. And for the heavies, you can have up to 1 infantry support platform. You can also have up to a saber tank, and then no unique upgrades are allowed. And then you have to have at least 1 to 2 commanders. You can include up to 4 special forces units. You have to include 3 to 6 core units, and you may include up to 3 support units, and you may include up to a heavy. But you have to have 3 to 6 core, and you have to have an army commander. Other than that, all the other ones are up to you. I like the fact that you can have up to 4 shooty Wookiees, but you have to have those 3, regular core trooper guys. And then they have the skirmish rank requirements, which means that you have to include 1 to 2 commanders. You may include up to 3 special forces units. You have to include 2 to 4 core, and then you may include 1 support or 1 heavy. And the Radanasp Fluttercraft, the attack craft. There's one specifically for this battle force. It's got attack run, which means at the start of this unit's activation, you can choose to increase or decrease its speed by 1 until the end of its activation. So it has speed or 2, which means that it can do its compulse move. It's got to do a compulse move before it does its 2 actions or after it's done with its 2 actions, and it can avoid anything up to height 2 or move over anything that's even up to height 2. It's got cover 2, so it's got heavy cover constantly, and it's immune to blast, melee, and range 1, so no Black Sun Enforcers being able to use its Magdet Enforcer, no blast stuff, which is really nice, but Sharpshooter, that's going to be kind of a downfall for here. Reposition, so either before or after you perform a standard move, you can perform a pivot, so maybe you decide to move, pivot, shoot from behind, and then pivot again and do another move, and then do its compulsory move. I mean, there's lots of ways to get it ready for any kind of attack or anything like that, but this is a really good one, especially with the Pierce gun Wookiee. The fact that you can slow down your speed or increase it is amazing, because maybe you are in a good spot. You do have to do a compulse move, but maybe you do a speed 1, and that way you're still in range to shoot out the back. Or maybe there's other units that you have the Bombardier where you can do the overrun attack, and you just overrun at speed 1, and then maybe do speed 2. It has to be for the entire activation. So, yeah, it would be speed 1, compulse, and then speed 1 if you decided to move 3 times, or if you for playing bombing run. For those purposes, you can have at speed 3 do a compulse move, and then do 2 moves, and then drop the bomb. Yeah, this is going to be really great, especially for good objective play and just for taking out some units. So I'm excited to see the Radanasp Fluttercraft. Now, I did play against Canadian Bear, and he had an amazing cavalry list with, two of the Lats, 3 Fluttercraft. So you had 5 units that were flying, that were all immune to blast. The other one had armor. This one's got cover 1. This one's got cover 2. And yeah, that was tough to go against. So I can see some pretty good ones. 3 Radanasp Fluttercraft. So I've built a list with 9 activations, it's 795. There's 9 acts, like I said, yeah, at 800, sorry. So 9x, 795. You've got the Wookiee Chieftain. You've got Vigilance. If you didn't want Vigilance, obviously you can take that out and save a few points. You'll go down to 783. You can also do Aggressive Tactics for like an extra 3 points, so 798. But yeah, so Vigilance to make sure you're keeping some dodges on this guy because he's Agile 1. Tenacity to add an extra red dice, so you're throwing 7 dice in melee. And then situational awareness, because anytime you move, you're going to get a dodge. You want to be able to stay in cover, and then maybe if a few crits come, you can cancel those crits, or yeah, cancel those crits pretty easily with those dodges. So this is awesome. I'm hoping to see some Wookie Chieftains on the board. So I've got 2 Wookie Warriors, the Kashyyyk Defenders. These are the shooty ones, and I've got the Bowcaster one. So you have the Impact and Pierce, just in case. And then I also have targeting scopes on there just for making sure that the rest of them, because there's range 1 to 3, 2 white. Even though they do surge, those 2 white are very finicky, so the targeting scopes really does help. That way you've got 2 special forces. Then you've got the Noble Fighters. These are the ones that are going to count as core for list building. And I've given 3 of them, or gotten 3 of them. They have Into the Fray, Tenacity, and Recon Intel. No heavy. That way we can fit 9 activations in here. So that way when they do get into melee, they've got Tenacity and Into the Fray to help them. And then Recon Intel to help them move up the board a little bit more. And if a miniature is defeated, not only are you moving up, speed 1 when you're deploying, but then maybe one's defeated, you move another speed 1 up. So now you're technically a speed 3 ahead, and then you double move and charge. Yeah, so they're going to be able to hopefully get in pretty quick, even if they do lose somebody. And then I've given 3 of the attack fluttercrafts of the special issue one. I've gotten 3 of them with the gunner, and they are a little bit more expensive than the regular fluttercrafts. So the fluttercrafts normally are 55. This one is 57 because of that attack run. Yeah. Again, super nice. Nice to have. So that's 9 activations, and hopefully a pretty good objective play, because the fluttercrafts can help with breakthrough and or bombing run, and then the Wookiee Chieftain, and then with the other ones, maybe this is going to be good for hostage exchange. So maybe your Wookiee Warriors have the hostage and a miniature is defeated, then you get to make a free speed 1 move with the hostage and then double move. And then if another one is defeated again, well, you make another speed 1 move, and that can be in like the second round. So by the end of the second round, you are way safe deep inside of your deployment zone. Or if it's a breakthrough, you're going to be able to move up pretty quickly. So maybe if you decided to take out the shooty Wookiees and specifically just have the Wookiee Warriors, then that could be fine. So yeah, let's see. Maybe we take out 2 of the shooty Wookiees. We replace them with 2 more of the regular Wookiees. That's 743. So now you definitely have the ability to maybe add like at least a Bowcaster to 2. Where is it? Nope, just to 1. Maybe add the Bowcaster to one of them, and or the Battle Shield. That gives you 800 exactly. That's still 9 activations, 5 core, so you still are in your zone. And maybe you give the Battle Shield Wookiee for the hostage. That way you've also got the armor just in case. Yeah, man, these guys are going to be awesome. And or maybe even take out Recon Intel on a few of them just to give yourself a few extra points. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be an insane list. I would be terrified to play up against it. Now, let's take a look at the new experimental droids battle force. This one, if you are skilled in CIS, I think you're definitely going to be bringing this one over the Separatist invasion force. So, the following units count as core units for the purpose of army building and battle cards. Your IG 100 Magna Guards are going to count, which these guys, I think the special prototype assassin droids specifically, are going to be core. Yeah, it says special forces on there, but they're technically going to be a core unit. They have 1 health each, 1 courage, and red defense dice, which is still really nice. Now, at the start of each activation phase, each round, you're going to choose one of your commanders, whether it be the T-Series, Kalani, or the Kraken, which I think, let's see, if we look at the commanders, Super Attack droids, and the T-Series droids. And yeah, so the T-Series, and I have Kalani as one of the Super Attack droids. Woo! Ah! I'm going all over the place. I'm sorry. Alright, so you can choose one of your commander units, and if you do, which you will, you're going to place 3 surge tokens on that unit's unit card. So now you're starting out the activations, you're giving out your orders, you put 3 surge tokens on your commander, and once during its activations, a friendly Special Forces, Core, or Support unit that has AI keyword may perform a free action to spend a surge token on the chosen commander unit if it's at range 3. So if you have a Special Forces unit at range 3 of a commander that's got the surge tokens, you can spend one of those surge tokens to do one of the following. You can increase their speed by 1 during the next move action this turn. So if they decide to move, it's going to be a speed 3, which is awesome. Holy crap. And then, or you can gain an aim or a dodge. So if they already are in melee, you can give them a free aim action or a free dodge action and then take an aim in melee. Or you can add a black and a white die to their attack pool during their next attack action this turn. So maybe you got your Magnum, they've got charge. You double move and you can add a black and a white dice to their melee. Or, maybe if you're shooting at anything, you can just basically, it's like another miniature that you're using. Or you could remove up to 2 suppression tokens. That way they don't panic, or that way they don't panic. That's awesome. Man, this is going to give you so many options. You've got 4 things to choose from. So let's take a look at what's allowed. Super attack droids, the T-Series tactical droid. Special forces are going to be the BX series Commandos, no strike teams. You're going to be able to also have the IG-11 or IG-100 Magna Guard, the prototype assassin droids. And then you can have 0 to 2 battle droids B1s or 0 to 2 B2s. You are allowed to bring Droidicus, and you can only bring the Persuader class tank droid, the prototype tank droid, and that's really it. So each army must include 1 to 2 commander units. Each army may include up to 3 special forces units. Each army must include 3 to 6 core units, and then each army may include up to 3 support units, which is pretty nice, again. And then each army may include up to 2 heavy units. So you're not forced to take a support or heavy, which is really good. And then they have the skirmish, which each army must include 1 to 2 commanders. And then for special forces, each army may include up to 3, which is still really good. And then for core, you must include 2 to 4, and then everything else you can include up to 1 heavy or support. So let's take a look at the Persuader tank, which has armor, Arsenal 3, which is pretty good, command node, which I think is the biggest change. So during the command phase, this unit may issue an order to a core unit at range 1. So it's almost kind of like having the onboard comms channel. So you can give an order to a core unit that's being technically driven by the tank, as far as I understand. So maybe you have the B2s on here. You can just give them an order without having to worry about AI. They still have programmed. They have repositioned, so before or after a move action, you can reposition. The sides are still the weak point, so it's going to have impact 1 whenever someone is shooting in your side arc. And this is only specific to this experimental droid's battle force. Still 11 health, still breaks down at 7. It's got a really, really good range 1 to 4 gun. It doesn't surge, so that's the only issue with that one. And then it's also got a range 1 to 2 gun with Ion 1. And then you can bring another weapon upgrade, especially for that Arsenal 3. Now, the IG-100 Magna Guard that are technically special forces, but they say special forces, but they're technically core for the army building purposes. So you can have a ton of Magna Guard, I'm sure. And they have still AI, dodge, move, charge, immune to melee, pierce, and unhindered. So it's basically everything is the same, except you can have a heavy, there's no personnel, and then there's 1 training slot, and a grenade slot. And then, like I said, 1 health, 1 courage, range 1 to 2 black and white, and then the electro staff is a black and white as well. So I've decided to make just a quick list using them, and I've done the super tactical droid Kalani with comms relay, and then a T-series droid naked. I've got a B2 with the B2 Ha Trooper and a T-series, so that way you ignore the AI. And then I've also got a B2 super battle droid that's going to be riding on the Persuader tank. That one has the B2 Ha Trooper and a PK series worker droid, because you don't have to worry about AI with the Persuader tank giving you an order, but now you do have something that can heal either the tank or your B2s. So that way, if anything's taking hits, your PK series can jump in. I've got a B1 with an E5C, and then another B1 with the E5S. And then I've got 2 of the IG-100 MagnaGuard assassin droids with the RPS-6, and then again the Persuader class with defense protocols and high energy shells for a 798 9 activation list. It's got all 6 core, and then 2 commanders, and then a heavy. This, I feel like, is going to be tough because of the AI. So yeah, it's giving you 3 surge tokens to combat the AI, especially because of the IG-100 MagnaGuards, since they count technically as core and not special forces. For list building, I mean, they're pretty expensive, and it's going to lower your count, but you do have a ton of red die saves. So you could make sure that you have less activations if you wanted to bring the Persuader tank with you. You could probably, get away with having a lot more of the MagnaGuard, but I wanted, to try and use the Persuader tank and everything else that's new in here and come up with something specific towards the battle force, and that's where I came up with the 9 activation list with 2 B2s, 2 B1s, and 2 of the MagnaGuards. That way I can fit the Persuader tank in there to go after the enemy. But, if you wanted, you could, like I said, get rid of your, maybe get rid of the B1s, get rid of the Persuader tank, go with 2 more of the MagnaGuard, but instead of the RPS on 3 of them, maybe you decide to go with the Electro Whip on 1 of them. And so you've got 3 with the RPS, 1 with the Electro Whip, and maybe you just bring some naked B1s. That's 10 activations, 790, and you've got 4 of the MagnaGuard. Man, yeah, that's going to be really good. And they all have red dice saves, so that's at least helpful. All your other stuff is going to be able to have just, regular stuff. Maybe you get rid of the 1B2 like that, and, you can only have the B1s. Maybe you give yourself, the PK series worker droids on both of the B1s, and maybe you give yourself the E5S on both of them, giving you 761, and you still have a ton of stuff left. It's going to be hard. I don't know. At least you've got, 4 wounds that you can kind of heal back onto those MagnaGuard, and then you still have a B2. Maybe you get rid of the T-Series and give yourself another B2, but instead of the T-Series, maybe you just give yourself the Worker Droid. If you want a bigger bid, maybe you can go with the Viper Recon. But having that, Worker Droid is going to be pretty awesome. I don't know. 9 activations with a total of 6 possible heals. Yeah. I don't know. Again, no, you can't because that's 8. Wow. I'm terrible right now. So, yeah, whatever I had first would actually probably be pretty good. But maybe you get rid of one of them. Give it here. That's 7 activations. Maybe, let's see, the T-Series droid. Now you've still got 6. You've got 658. Maybe you give yourself, again, that T-Series just because you want those surge tokens. And you don't have any B1s, so maybe you give yourself just some extra bodies. There you go. 2 B1s that are naked. You have a B2. You have a T-Series, a regular super tactical droid, and 5 units of mag. Oh, man, you cannot do that. I'm so sorry, guys. I keep forgetting that you can only have 6 core units. Man, oh, that's so tough. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Whatever I had first, I feel like fits, but it's only 9 activations. And only 2 Magna Guard. Or 3, I can't remember. But yeah, guys, that is really it. That is all that I have today. Hopefully, you guys were able to watch the Ministraviganza stuff and get a bunch of good ideas. You know, I'm extremely excited about the 5th brother and the 7th sister and what they're going to be able to offer. And yeah, you know, that's really it, guys. If you have any questions, hit up the Discord. Feel free to come on in, ask anything you want. Go to the general questions, go to Empire Chat. If you've got any list ideas that you need help working on, if you've got, you know, ideas like Canadian Bear and Kato, and you just want to start posting some stuff and asking, feel free to do that. Go ahead and head to the Discord, or sorry, the Patreon, where you can, you know, subscribe for $5 a month, $1, $10 or $25, help support this channel and the giveaways and everything else. Ooh, also, I did not have a video, I think 2 weeks ago, and I announced the winner on my YouTube community page. So if you are, I think Daniel, yeah. If you want, go ahead and check that out and message me on Discord. And then you can head to the Burn Academy for $15 a month. You can subscribe, download the app, and then you get 3, 4, 5, 6 day week workout programs. You get the corrective exercise, 30-minute torture program, at-home stuff, abs and core stuff, the cardio circuits that I just added, and 120 different recipes. You get to track your progress. You get to watch coaching videos, everything to make you look like a pro in the gym. But all right, guys, that is it. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Daniel Padilla, who was the winner 2 weeks ago, Emperor Atlantis and Kitsune, as well as Anthony Estrada and Tyson. Thank you guys so much for all that you do and being a part of this Patreon community. So thank you guys so much, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Peace.